Krishna, dear devotees. Today we're going to look at Lord Bramha in the 12 Mahajan series. Mahajans, so let's talk about what Mahajans mean. So the term Mahajan means great soul. So the Mahajans that we're going to look at here, as described in the great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, so the Mahajans here are 12, starting with Lord Bramha, Lord Shiva, Shukadev Goswami, Prahlad Maharaj. We've got Narad Muni, King Janaka, the four Kumaras, Kapila Dev, Swayambhuva, Manu, Bhishmadev, Bali Maharaj, and finally Yamaraj. So when we say Mahajan, what does Mahajan mean? It means a great soul. So the Mahajans, in short, they are the greatest devotees of the Lord, who are empowered by the Lord to spread devotion and divine knowledge. So why should we be studying the Mahajans? What is the relevance? The reason why we study them is they show us how devotees should surrender to the Supreme Lord, how devotees should behave and cultivate devotion to the Supreme Lord. So we study them and we try to implement their teachings and follow in their footsteps. They can deliver transcendental messages of the Lord to us and help us go back to the Supreme Lord. These Mahajans, they have their disciplic successions and they are great teachers from whom we can get knowledge. So in this session, we're going to look at the very first Mahajan, Lord Bramha. So Lord Bramha, as you can see here, he is the topmost of all demigods. So we know we have a god, who is the Supreme Personality described in the scriptures to be Lord Krishna, and we have demigods who are empowered by the Supreme Lord to carry out all the various activities of the cosmic manifestations. It's like a king. A king would have ministers and he would delegate task departments to the different ministers. So the king himself doesn't have to look after every single thing. He delegates. In the same way, Lord Bramha, he is one of the 33 million demigods that exist, that take care of everything. And he is actually the topmost of all the demigods. So we can see him here depicted sitting on a lotus flower with 4 heads. And he is seen to have 4 arms. One of them holds a lotus flower. One of them, the Vedas, which is spoken by the Supreme Lord, contains all the knowledge that will help living entities. Rosary beads and a water pot. So Lord Bramha, let's see a few facts about him. There is so much to be said, but we cannot cover everything in one session, so we'll just go over the most important parts. So who is Lord Brahma's father and mother? Well, he is called Swayambhu because he doesn't have a mother and a father like normal living entities. His father and mother is actually Lord Vishnu. So we can see Lord Vishnu here called, in the bubble, he's called Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. He lies on the Garbhodaka ocean on the bed of serpents called Anantashesh. So Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, we can see from his navel there is a stem and a lotus flower. So Lord Brahma is actually comes into being from the lotus flower, coming from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is the generator of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma serves the Supreme Lord by creating the universe and the living entities. So living entities that populate the different planets in this material universe, they are coming from the different parts of Lord Brahma. And we'll look at that in more detail later on. Lord Brahma lives on a planet in this material world. So there are 14 planetary systems, as mentioned in the Vedic literatures. So let's see the planetary systems. So we can see that this is in one universe, because there are millions and millions of universes coming out of the pores of Lord Vishnu, called Mahavishnu, or Karanadakashaya Vishnu. So we can see all these little bubbles when the Lord breathes in and breathes out. When he breathes out, millions of universes come out of the pores of his body, of the body of Karanadakashaya Vishnu. And in each of the universe, the Lord goes in as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And so he also expands into Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, who goes into the heart of every living entity as the super soul. So we can see all these innumerable universes coming out, and within each is Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and within each universe there is a Lord Brahma who will create all the living entities to populate the different planetary systems. So within each universe we can see that there are the upper planetary systems, there's the middle planetary systems, and the lower planetary systems. So there are 14 of them. And Lord Brahma, we can see sitting right at the top. He lives in the topmost planet in this material universe, and that's called Brahma Loka. So he creates all the living entities to populate the different planetary systems in the material universe, such as Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka. So we can see the Earth is here. It's the middle planetary system. In the middle is the planet Earth. And we can see the Garbhodaka Ocean, on which the Lord Garbhodakashaya Vishnu lies. And so Lord Brahma, we can see he creates all the different entities, and within the stem of the lotus flower of Lord Brahma, all these planets are situated with all the living entities. So Lord Brahma, therefore, he lives in Brahmaloka, the highest planet in the material universe. And so the time is different in these different planets. So on this planet, on the planet of Brahmaloka, one day or one night of Lord Brahma equals to 4.32 billion earthly years. So we can imagine, and Lord Brahma, he lives for 100 such years. So that's a very, very long time. And what happens when he dies? Because all the demigods have to die at some point. Only the Supreme Lord is unborn, and he is the one who exists when all of the cosmic manifestation is annihilated. He's the only one living. So Lord Brahma dies. He dies. He lives for 100 such years, and when he dies, what happens is all the planetary systems then get dissolved in water, and they enter into Garbhodakashaya Vishnu's body. So we have another kind of annihilation which happens actually at the end of Lord Brahma's day, so every day in Brahma's night, there is a partial annihilation that happens. So all the lower planetary systems are destroyed when he sleeps. So Lord Brahma sleeps within the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and during that time there is a partial annihilation. And when Lord Brahma wakes up, these lower planetary systems are again created. So he creates these lower planetary systems when he wakes up, and he creates all the living beings as well. So let's see. So the lower planetary systems are, as you can see here, the lower bit. So Atala, Vitala, Sutala, for example, Mahatala, Rasatala. So these are the lower planetary systems. The upper planetary systems during the partial annihilation are not destroyed. So let's go into the story of how Lord Brahma was created. How he came into being from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the story is as follows. So when Lord Brahma appeared on that lotus flower, he was unable to see any cosmic manifestation. It was pitch dark and he couldn't see a thing. He moved his eyes in all directions. So as a result, he achieved 4 heads. Being bewildered about his existence and considering that there must be something downward from which the lotus had sprouted, Brahma entered the water through the hollow of the lotus stem. And yet, in spite of going near to the navel of Lord Vishnu, Brahma could not discover his origin. After reaching his ultimate time, which is the wheel in the hand of the Lord, Brahma returned to the top of the lotus flower, where he began to meditate upon the Supreme Lord. Then, at the end of 100 celestial years, Brahma was able to see the Supreme Lord, whom he had previously not been able to see even with the greatest endeavor. Lord Brahma could see Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lying upon the gigantic white bed of Sheshanag, whose bejeweled hoods illuminated the surrounding regions. The Lord's enormous body extended the entire length and breadth of the 3 worlds, and its luster mocked the beauty of a coral mountain. Although the coral mountain is very beautifully dressed by the evening sky, the yellow dress of the Lord derided that beauty. The Lord's golden helmet, which was bedecked with jewels, mocked the gold on the mountain summit, and the waterfalls, foliage, and panorama of flowers that seemed to gall in the mountain were derided by the Lord's decoration of jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands. When the Lord showed his lotus feet to Brahma by raising them, the splendor of the transcendental rays emanating from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared to be like the petals of a flower. As the Lord beautifully smiled to acknowledge the service of his devotees and vanquish their distress, Brahma concluded that he who he was seeing must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, while glancing over the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel, the lotus flower, the devastating water, the drawing wind in the sky, which are referred to as the 5 causes of creation, Brahma became surcharged with the mode of passion. Brahma thus became inclined to create the universe as it had been before, and in that mood he offered the following prayers unto the Lord for achieving his merciful guidance. O my Lord, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you, who are the only knowable object, since there is nothing beyond you. My Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of their ears, find that you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts. Your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed and you take your seat there. O object of my worship, I have been born from your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. Therefore, please mercifully empower me with sufficient understanding so that I may properly fulfill my duty, for I am a soul surrendered unto you. I also pray that while being engaged in your service, I may not become materially affected by my work and thus fall prey to false ego, thinking myself to be the creator. During the course of my activities, I will certainly come in contact with many vicious living entities. So I pray that I may not fall down from my position due to their association. My Lord, please smilingly bestow your benediction upon me by opening your eyes and remove my dejection by giving me your direction. Seeing Brahma's anxiety about the construction of the universe and his depression caused by the devastating water, the Lord spoke to him in a deep and grave voice. O Brahma, do not be anxious or depressed, because that which you are begging for has already been granted. Situate yourself in devotional service by meditating upon me, and in this way you will be able to understand everything within your heart. While absorbed in your service, you will be able to see me within yourself and throughout the universe, and you will also see that you, the universe, and all other living beings are in me. By possessing this transcendental vision, you will become freed from all illusion, and thus you will have no cause for fear. Because you have desired to serve me by increasing the universal population, by my causeless mercy, you shall never be defeated in your activities. Rest assured that if you always keep your mind fixed upon me, then even while engaging in the so-called material activities, the vicious mode of passion will not be able to overwhelm you. O Brahma, the prayers you have chanted to glorify me, the austerities you have undergone, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. I have become very pleased by your prayers, and so by my benediction, your activities will come out successful. Excuse me. After speaking, Lord Narayan disappeared, and thereafter Brahma engaged in austerities for 100 celestial years, as he had been instructed. At the end of that period, Brahma could see that the lotus upon which he was seated, as well as the water below, was trembling due to violent wind. Having become very powerful due to his long practice of penance, however, Brahma easily drank up both the wind and the water. Thus, while observing how the planets were merged within the lotus, which spread throughout the universe, Lord Brahma began to contemplate how they could be resituated as before. For this purpose, he entered into the whirl of the lotus and then divided it into 3 parts and later on into 14, or for the inhabitation of the various grades of living entities that he would create. In the beginning, there were 6 creations by the Lord through the agency of his external energy. The Mahatattva, or sum total of material ingredients wherein the modes of nature interact. Number 2, the false ego. Number 3, sense perceptions. Number 4, knowledge and the working capacity. Number 5, the controlling deities. And number 6, the ignorant darkness of the living entities, whereby they act as fools. Then there were 4 creations of Brahma. The immovable living entities of 6 varieties, the lower animals in 8 divisions, the human beings in whom the mode of passion is prominent, and the 8 varieties of higher beings, the demigods' forefathers, asuras, gandharvas, apsaras, yakshas, rakshasas, siddhas, charanas, and vidyadharas, bhutas, pretas, pishachas, and the superhuman beings such as the kinnaras. Before creating these varieties of living entities, Lord Brahma created the 5 kinds of nations under which they would be: moha, the illusory bodily conception of life, and that causes forgetfulness of one's real identity. Number 2, andhatamishra, the sense of death and its resultant fear. Mahamohan, the sense of false ownership. Tamas, self-deception. And tamishra, anger after frustration. Brahma did not feel happy after performing such activity, however, for he considered these misleading creations to be sinful. Therefore, to purify himself, he sat down and meditated upon the Supreme Lord before continuing his work of creation. So thereafter, Lord Brahma created the 4 sages known as Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar, and he ordered them, "My dear sons, now generate progeny." But the 4 Kumaras were unwilling to accept household life, and so they refused their father's orders because they aimed for liberation. So Lord Brahma, actually, his mind became really angry, filled with anger, and this was certainly natural, considering the disobedience of his sons. Still, Brahma knew that the Kumaras were very spiritually advanced, so he tried his best to suppress his anger. But being unable to do so, however, the anger came out between his eyebrows, and instantly a child was generated who had a complexion of red and blue. Upon his birth, this child began crying out, "O teacher of the universe and maker of destiny, please designate a name and residence for me." So Lord Brahma pacified the child and said, "Do not cry. I shall certainly do as you wish. You will be called Rudra because you have cried so anxiously. I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, senses, air of life, sky, air, fire, water, earth, sun, moon, and austerity." So then Lord Brahma, he created other sons. He got 10 other sons, Marichi, so the great sages, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vashishta, Daksha, and Narada. These sons were born from the Lord Brahma's mind, eyes, mouth, ears, navel, hand, touch, breathing, thumb, and deliberation, respectively. Since Lord Brahma's intelligence is the best part of his body, Narad, who is able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone, is considered to be his foremost son. Next, religion became manifest from Brahma's chest and from his back, where horrible death takes place. Irreligion appeared. Lust and desire became manifest from Brahma's heart, and anger came out from between his eyebrows. Greed emerged from between Brahma's lips, and the power of speaking was generated from his mouth. Kardama was then born from Brahma's shadow, and there was also a daughter born called Vak. So the four Vedas became manifest from the four mouths of Lord Brahma as well. The paraphernalia for sacrificial performance, the four principles of religion, the duties of the four social orders became manifest. The Puranas and the histories, which are called the fifth Veda, also became manifest from all four of Lord Brahma's mouth. There's also a male form called Swayambhuva Manu and a female form called Shatarupa. These forms, they also became generated from Lord Brahma. So this is a little description of Lord Brahma and how he came into being and how he created the planets and the living entities. So there's quite a lot we can learn from the story of Lord Brahma's creation, and it's worth outlining these. So we see that when Lord Brahma, he couldn't understand what to do, he actually engaged in tapasya, because he heard the syllables tapa uttered, and so he took shelter of the Lord. And we know that Lord Brahma, of course, he's the topmost demigod. He also had the spiritual teacher Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. So the first spiritual, even Lord Brahma, he's our first spiritual teacher. He took instructions from the Supreme Lord. He accepted the Lord as his guru, and he took the instructions tapa very seriously, and he underwent a lot of austerities by following these instructions. So we should, like Lord Brahma, also submissively hear transcendental instructions from a bona fide guru in disciplic succession. We'll look at disciplic succession to explain what it means, but just the idea is we should accept from higher authority, who is the Supreme Lord, instructions on how to perfect our lives. Only when we please the Lord does he give us transcendental knowledge and reveal his abode. So we saw that the Lord didn't immediately manifest before Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma had to undergo austerities, and then when the Lord was pleased, he revealed himself, and he gave actually knowledge to Lord Brahma. He imparted knowledge to Lord Brahma. So he gave the instructions to the heart of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma therefore is, let's see. So we can see, before we go into the disciplic succession of Lord Brahma, where he accepted knowledge from the Supreme Lord and passed it on, and this is how the knowledge is reaching us today. So before we go to that, there's one more thing we need to understand, is Lord Brahma, he obviously was given the intelligence to create, but in the beginning he didn't know how to create. He was empowered by the Lord. So in the same way, all intelligence, all the capabilities that we have, all the talents, know-how, everything that we have is actually given to us by the Supreme Lord. And so we should be careful not to think that it's all coming from us. It's actually coming from Krishna. So we should not be proud of whatever intelligence we have, whatever talent, but we should use it in serving him. We should use it to serve him. We can see that Lord Brahma, he even mentioned this to the Lord. He said, so I might fall prey to false ego and think myself to be the creator while I'm executing my duties, but please protect me from that. I pray that I may not be materially affected and fall down from my position, become proud. So please protect me. So we see that we should be very careful not to become too proud. So talking about disciplic succession, so we see how therefore Lord Bramha is a Mahajan. He is empowered to give us instructions because he was given instruction in the heart by the Supreme Lord. So Lord Brahma's Sampradaya, so it begins with Lord Bramha. So the disciplic succession begins with Lord Bramha, who receives knowledge in his heart directly from Lord Krishna himself. So when we receive knowledge, we should not keep it to ourselves. We should disseminate this knowledge. We should be like a parrot. A parrot hears very carefully, and then he repeats exactly as he heard it. So we should be the same when it comes to hearing knowledge. We should not keep it to ourselves. We should repeat. We should tell others about it. And we should, in the course of doing that, not change anything according to our own whims. Or rather, we should repeat exactly as we heard. So, Lord Brahma's Sampradaya is a bona fide Sampradaya. It has, this knowledge is passed on from Krishna to Lord Bramha, from Lord Bramha to his son Narada, from Narada to his disciple Vyasadeva, and then from Vyasadeva to Madhava, Padmanabha. So we can see all the different elevated people in this disciplic succession, all the way from Krishna. We are very fortunate that it reached us, so we can see our founder Acharya Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada is number 32. So this knowledge that he has received from his guru Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and his guru has received from number 30, and number 30 from 29. So we can see this knowledge that is coming to us is bona fide. It's not concocted, and it hasn't been changed in any way. So Lord Bramha, therefore, he so we can see it's received, the knowledge is received for disciplic succession from Lord Bramha. So having touched on that, let's move on to prayers. So Lord Bramha has actually offered very nice prayers to the Supreme Lord at the beginning of creation, and this is called the Sri Brahma Samhita. The Brahma Samhita a very beautiful collection of verses of Lord Brahma's prayers to Krishna. The first one is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So here Lord Brahma says, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is a supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. So by hearing about the Brahma Samhita, we can learn a lot about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's wonderful that Lord Brahma is passing on this knowledge to us. So there are two little pastimes involving Lord Brahma, which I've included here. Now, of course, Lord Brahma had asked the Supreme Lord to protect him from being proud, but here we can see in the pastime in Krishna described in Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Krishna book, we know that Lord Brahma at some point, because he had never seen Krishna, he saw this beautiful bluish cowherd boy enjoying with his friends in the forest of Vrindavan. And when he, riding on his swan carrier, saw Krishna sitting there with a lump of yogurt and rice in his left hand, he was bewildered. He could not understand how a little boy like this, sitting with his cowherd friends, joking, laughing, and even eating the remnants from his cowherd friends, how could such a person be the Supreme Lord? So he became bewildered, and he thought that he was far, far superior, that Lord Brahma, he thought that he was more powerful than Krishna. He wanted to show his mystic power before Krishna. So he stole all the cowherd boys and the calves, and he put them in a cave to put them to sleep in the cave temporarily. He wanted to watch the fun. But then when he came back, because Krishna is Supreme Lord, he can expand himself, and Krishna had expanded himself into all the exact same calves and cowherd boys. For 1 whole year, all these expansions of Krishna were going back, and nobody knew about this. They were going back home, their mothers were caring for them, and the cows were caring for the calves, exactly as things had been before Lord Brahma stole all the boys and cows. So they couldn't. So Lord Brahma, when he came back, he saw the exact same calves and cowherd boys sitting there, and he couldn't understand. He went to the cave, and he saw that the boys were still sleeping there. So he became bewildered. He tried to show his mystic power to Krishna, who is the Lord of all mystic powers, is Yogeshwar, and he himself became bewildered. So then Krishna, in order to show his mercy, he converted all the boys and calves into his expansions. He showed Lord Brahma that these boys and calves are actually an expansion of me. So you can see all the Vishnu forms. And when Lord Brahma was seeing this, he was stumped, and he was bewildered, and he understood that these boys were not the original boys, but they were expansions of Krishna. So he understood that he had made a mistake, and that Krishna was the Supreme Lord, and these expansions were himself, Vishnu forms. He understood that he had made a mistake by trying to test Krishna, and he came down to the ground, and he bowed all 4 of his heads to the lotus feet of Krishna. And these helmets touched the feet of Krishna. And he began to offer prayers with great respect, humility, and attention. He asked for forgiveness, and he offered beautiful prayers to Krishna. And Krishna forgave him, of course, and said, you can return back to your planet and never forget your constitutional position as my servant. So that's one little story about Lord Brahma and the incident of stealing the calves. And we have another story here where Lord Brahma was reminded that he is just very insignificant, and that the Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mataha Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. So he is the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and that's what it means. So the story begins. So we mentioned that there are so many universes coming out of the pores of Karandakashaya Vishnu. They're innumerable universes that are coming out, and different universes have different sizes. Our universe here is the smallest, and so the Brahma, predominating superintendent, Lord Brahma, has only 4 heads for management. But in other universes, which are far greater than ours, Brahmas there have more heads. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated that all these Brahmas were called one day by Lord Krishna on the inquiry of the small Brahma, who, after seeing all the larger Brahmas, was thunderstruck. So the story is a beautiful one, and it goes like this. So one day, Lord Brahma, he came to Dwarka. He approached the doorman because he wanted to see Krishna. So the doorman didn't allow him in, but he went to ask permission from Krishna. And the doorman informed Krishna that Brahma had arrived to see him. Upon hearing this, Krishna inquired as to which Brahma had come, and the doorman returned to Brahma and asked, which Brahma are you? Krishna has asked. So Brahma became thunderstruck. He became struck with wonder. Why did Krishna ask such a question? He informed the doorman, please tell him that Brahma, who is the father of the 4 Kumaras and who has 4 heads, has come to see him. So the doorman informed Krishna and then asked Brahma inside. Lord Brahma, he went in, he offered his obeisances onto the lotus feet of Krishna. And after receiving him with all honor, Krishna inquired about the purpose of his visit. Lord Brahma replied, I shall tell you of my purpose in coming here, but first I have a doubt, which I will ask you to kindly remove. Your doorman told me that you have asked which Brahma has come to see you. May I inquire if there are other Brahmas besides me? Upon hearing this, Krishna smiled and at once called for many Brahmas from many universes. The 4-headed Brahma then saw many other Brahmas coming to see Krishna and to offer their respects. Some of them had 10 heads, some had 20, some had 100, and some even had 1,000,000 heads. Indeed, the 4-headed Brahma could not even count the Brahmas who were coming to offer their obeisances to Krishna. Krishna then called many other demigods from various universes, and they all came to offer their respects to the Lord. Upon seeing this wonderful exhibition, the four-headed Brahma became nervous and began to think of himself as no more than a mosquito in the midst of many elephants. Since so many demigods were offering obeisances unto the lotus feet of Krishna, Brahma concluded that the unlimited potency of Krishna could not be estimated. All the helmets of the various demigods and Brahmas shone brightly in the great assembly, and the prayers of the demigods made a great sound. Dear Lord, the demigods said, it is your great mercy that you've called us to see you. Is there any particular order? If so, we will carry it out at once. Lord Krishna replied, there is nothing especially required of you. I only wanted to see you together at one time. I offer my blessings to you. Don't fear the demons. By your mercy, everything is all right, they all replied. There are no disturbances at present, for by your incarnation, everything inauspicious is vanquished. As each of the Brahmas saw Krishna, each thought that he was only within his universe. After this incident, Krishna wished all the Brahmas farewell, and after offering respects to them, they returned to their respective universes. Upon seeing this, the four-headed Brahma at once fell down at the feet of Krishna and said, what I thought about you at first was all nonsensical. Everyone may say that they know you in perfection, but as far as I am concerned, I cannot begin to conceive how great you are. You are beyond my conception and understanding. So we can see that here. So we can see that Lord Bramha, he understood that he was insignificant, and whenever he has a false prestige, Krishna shows him his real position. And so even in this world, we know that materialistic scientists think that they are controlling material nature, and material scientists think that this planet Earth is full of opulence, but all the other planets are vacant. They're just simply speculating, and this is their scientific conclusion. But from the Bhagavatam, we understand that the entire universe is full of living entities everywhere. And it is the folly of the scientists that although they don't know anything, they mislead people by presenting themselves as philosophers, men of knowledge, as scientists. This is Prabhupada speaking here from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can see here that so although Lord Brahma is said to be the creator of the universe, of all the living entities, right? He's the grandfather of all living entities. But actually, he is only the secondary creator. The primary creator, as we know, is the Supreme Lord Krishna, the origin of everything. So this was just a little session on Lord Brahma. There is so much to be said about Lord Brahma and the universe and creation, but this is just a little snapshot of the great Mahajan Lord Bramha, who is a great teacher in the disciplic succession. In our ISKCON as well, we are the school is the Brahma Sampradaya. So there are different sampradayas which are schools of authentic knowledge coming directly from the Lord. We are the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, accepting knowledge, transcendental knowledge, bona fide knowledge from Lord Bramha. And that's the end of our session. Hare Krishna, everybody. Jai Shri Shri Panchatattva, Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.